In the first part of this webinar, we heard Peter Richards explain to us what makes sustainability such an important matter and how you can really impact the local communities by having a comprehensive policy in place. Now let's listen some case studies from Red Monkey, Mark's dealer, and Aebe Christian from Shinta Mani in Cambodia. You will see it's really, really interesting, and you will get practical tips to implement in your own properties. So enjoy this webinar and feel free to contact us if you're interested in participating in future webinars or share your stories. Let me introduce you now our second speaker, Mark Dealer. Mark Dealer is the founder and manager of the Red Monkey Lodge in Zanzibar, Tanzania. Having had enough of resorts where tourists flocked en masse, he gave life with his wife to their idea of terrestrial paradise. Created in 2010, the Red Monkey Lodge Zanzibar is not only a life-sized, it's only 12 rooms, it's a beautiful resort, but it's also a place that champions local culture and initiatives, as Mark and his wife have decided to set the resort as perfectly as possible in its environment. The Red Monkey Lodge is partnering with 7 local NGOs which work to improve the life of the local people. Their efforts do not stop there. The soaps are produced locally from seaweeds. The food is bought directly from local fishermen, and all activities are proposed in partnership with local tour guides. Their stance is plain and simple, be the antithesis of mass tourism. And now we'll welcome Mark.
Okay, thank you so much to everybody. So thank you for having me. I'm very humbled to speak in this context where there's so many knowledgeable speakers before and with me. I just want to show with my input that you don't need to be a highly trained academic or a wealthy company to approach the matter. My name is Mark and I'm based in Zanzibar, Tanzania. I've been in the tourism industry since I started to work in restaurants in the summer holidays as a teenager. Since then I went through many different experiences, among which corporate event logistics, music industry, and I spent the last 10 years in East Africa. As Alex said, I've been a GM and CEO of tour operators, with startups, and realized mass tourism was not for me. Before I start speaking about specifically our lodge, I would like you to show where Zanzibar is. Zanzibar, as most of you know, is a semi-autonomous archipelago in East Africa, part of Tanzania, or united politically with Tanzania. It's 2 main islands and has a total population of about 1 million people. It's a Swahili area in the Indian Ocean. At the end, when I decided not to want to work in mass tourism, I founded a consulting company that resulted in the opening of the Red Monkey Lodge in 2009. So although food and water are not really a survival issue in Zanzibar, Zanzibar is a developing country and there's a lot of infrastructure issues, low income generally speaking. So I want to define a little bit in which kind of context my experience is based and grown in. So first of all, islands and small developing countries. Second, a small village with a community of less than 5,000 inhabitants. And third, a small, in our case less than 15 rooms, independent lodging managed with a person. In order to make what we do replicable, it cannot be replicated in a, let's say, in a Western city context, or many things will be more difficult for a huge hotel. The first direct impact is that we employ more than 20 people right out of the village. And it's a small, as I said, fishing village called Jambiani, less than 5,000 people living there. Since all have regular long-term contracts, it does give a certain job stability in the small community. Since also we purchase food and consumables locally as much as possible, of course, there's income for the community, and that's the first obvious result. There's an issue here about the purchasing locally, which is to align local purchase and locally owned businesses with a low environmental impact. Not easy. If you purchase locally, i.e., if you purchase in the village, it does not mean it's produced locally, and it does not mean it's produced organic. If you purchase organic, it does not mean it's locally produced. In a little bit more deeper level, we try to do as many as possible of our excursions with the local villages, and our activities like snorkeling, bike rental, and massages are left to partners in the village, i.e. they are not employees by us, but it's independent entities that offer these services to our guests. The guests appreciate this because it's real life experiences, and the village profits from tourism. So the village actually benefits directly, the village and the families benefit directly from tourism and from their activities, so they value tourism as a resource. So that makes sure there are no conflicts. Tourists are looked after, and we are looked after, since everybody in the village sees us as a resort, as a resource. I'm sorry. Tourists appreciate being part of the village. Our slogan, or one of our marketing taglines, is we are part of the village rather than being a golden cage. That results in higher consumer satisfaction. Go to Tripadvisor reports, repeat guests, word of mouth, and that ultimately impacts positively on our occupancy. So many of our guests, or all of our guests, are asked to complete feedback forms, and the community involvement is actually pointed out as the main reason for booking, and it's one of the top 3 experiences guests have. So you see, like, this involving ourselves with the local community so closely results in more or better business. Also the quality of people, as you can imagine, is better than in an all-inclusive resort. Another effect, another example how this positively results, we had an attempt to break in the night, one night, and the village stopped these people, and since then patrols regularly in the night. So I would say that's a very positive result that you would definitely not have if you would pretend the village did not exist. So there's of course a general fashion trend that likes everything which is eco or bio or vintage. So the recognition by a certification authority like Responsible Tourism Tanzania or Travel Life, and online forums such as Tripadvisor, Holiday Check, etc., defining you as a responsible hospitality business benefits strongly the marketing efforts. For example, it does seem that in Zanzibar, especially in our area, there are competitors with swimming pools, ACs, which we do not offer, that have lower occupancy than us, although we have the same price. So, we can proudly say that in our price range we are one of the highest occupancy, although there might be some more services offered in other hotels that do not interact so much with the community. So the biggest benefit I've seen at village level is actually individuals that share interests with me personally, or the management staff, or our staff and the guests, and have participated at free workshops. We offer free workshops regularly: fire training, language lessons, music theory courses, permaculture concepts introduction, and so on. So people can get into these workshops and develop some skills or passions further. Some others have involved themselves also at individual levels in some aspect of the lodge. We have a weekly jam session, we have a kite surfing school, and some others have been tutored individually by some of us or of the guests. So as a result, some of the individuals have in the last 5 years successfully learned kiteboarding. So there's people employed in our kiteboarding school with way over average salaries, allowing them a different lifestyle. Some people have become, some individuals have become professional musicians. Also, that is employment, gives us very good music. And the village in general has started interesting themselves in environmental issues such as recycling and water saving. And at least 5 staff have started personal side activities, supplying our lodge or others, and 2 work full-time for their own activities that they have started, also thanks to what they've learned from us and some microcredit. So this is the advantage or the positive impact to the village. So how does that help the lodge? Why should we do that if you, on a commercial point of view? So for our direct results, we can employ local staff. For example, the kiteboarding school means no resident permits, no work permits, no flight ticket required, so low operational costs. We have great entertainment with local musicians participating at the jam sessions, to such an extent actually that musicians that perform in Zanzibar, Tanzania, actually East Africa, sometimes come all the way to our lodge to jam with the local talents. So it's one of the main regular musical events on the island that brings us publicity and income. So interest in the solution is shifting from just our interest as tourism investors to the entire community. So as a bottom line, I'm almost done with my monologue. I hope you're still awake, everybody. I would say that in our case, the key is interacting with the surrounding community, and attempt not to live side by side in hermetically divided spaces. The idea is to find a way to be all part of the same thing. If you manage that, the results for you as a business are lower costs, more bookings, a clean environment, low staff turnover, resulting in a happy, stable community, and enthusiastic guests that are keen to recommend us and come back.
Thank you so much, Mark. And now let me introduce you our third speaker, Christian De Boer. Christian is the general manager of the Shinta Mani. So different size and different type of hotels, which makes it also very interesting for our discussion. The Shinta Mani attained third place in the 2013 Tripadvisor ranking of world best hotel. So really, it's an honor to have you, Aebe Christian, as you're a star in Cambodia, I understood. So thank you for being with us. You're located in Cambodia. The Shinta Mani is a model of how a hotel can be involved in the improvement of the local communities' lives. Indeed, the hotel itself is funding the Shinta Mani Foundation, dedicated to teaching the local youth, provide medical attention to the people who can't afford it, and help small local businesses get funding. The cohabitation of the for-profit hotels with their non-profit foundation counterpart, how they work, exchange and benefit from one another to thrive and ultimately make the best impact on their environment, makes for a fantastic tale with which Christian will be more than happy to tell us. Welcome, Christian.
Thank you very much. I'm flattered by your comments. Indeed, just call me Christian, please. Let's start off with a couple of facts. We are basically a much bigger version of the Red Monkey, with two different hotels, one of 39 rooms and one of 62 rooms, located opposite each other, and here in the center of Siem Reap. The Shinta Mani, we are currently the #1 on Tripadvisor. We're currently the #2 on Tripadvisor, and according to lovely Tripadvisor, we're also #3 hotel worldwide. We present ourselves as a 4 and 4.5 star hotel. Now, on top of that, Travel and Leisure United States honored us with the Global Vision Awards 2014, and we were in the Condé Nast Hot List 2014 as well. On Facebook, we now have approximately 524,000 likes. On one of our YouTube films in total has reached around 325,000 views, and both of the hotels are indeed Bill Bensley designed. Later on this year, we will be on CNN. We will apparently be on The Amazing Race on Bloomberg Television, and we've just finished the New York Times article, plus one or two others. Now, all of that stuff sounds all really good, and on the same note, we've been able to reach all of this with a budget, an expense budget, which is substantially less than anyone else of the big hotels here in Siem Reap. As I said, Shinta Mani, 2 hotels, Shinta Mani Club, Shinta Mani Resort, in total 102 rooms, and I am enormously proud to say that we have 275 full-time Khmer staff. The fact that I have to underscore the word full-time means normally in Siem Reap people work with seasonal staff, i.e. April 1 comes and 30 or 40% of their Khmer staff is to be terminated, and for the next 6-7 months until the next high season comes, and then those people will be rehired. We've chosen to not do that and only offer full-time staff. In those 275 people, we have 6 full-time foundation staff members whose job is really and only the community and our foundation work. I run the hotel in management on my own as a one Westerner. All other heads of department are indeed Khmer, and I have one Western lady in our reservations department. Hotel consists now of 2 pools, 3 restaurants in central Siem Reap, and I'm actually quite a little bit chuffed that we're outperforming any other hotel in Siem Reap. Our annual GOP is actually higher than most other 5-star deluxe hotel, whilst we have no travel budget. Our travel budget for the whole sales team for the whole year, I think, is $900. Our year-round occupancy this year will be hopefully around 71-72%, and only 3 people have left me last year. Now, how are we able to achieve all of that stuff? by enormously actively focusing on our staff. So the enormously actively focusing on staff on every single side of their well-being, and all of those things obviously cost much more than what we're saving so far. So we are slightly different in one or two other angles as well. We run the hotel without a single brochure. We're clearly very active on social media. On the same note, not one post ever on our Facebook page is about stay tonight for $100 or this is our steak for $12 or any other prices. There are no prices on our Facebook page, and mainly because that's not the purpose. Facebook is the perfect medium to make people interested in a destination, after which hopefully they choose Shinta Mani. If not, and they're choosing another hotel, that's obviously also okay. The same with YouTube. Our YouTube videos are perhaps not the standard hotel video, and I've just completed a video last week with Fire the Cambodian Circus, lots of bubbles, smoke machines, and other interesting things. All of this is done to create word of mouth. Really going back to the very, very first type of hotels where before internet, before everything, where the only way of communicating with potential guests was hearsay and word of mouth. So the sole goal of wowing our guests. That's the sole goal of 275 team members that are all able, active, motivated, and to impress our guests in any way, shape, or possible. Now, I believe as a GM that my number one goal is ensuring jobs for all of my staff, and that's indeed 50% of the time. The other 50% is participating in our community achievements or activities / staff benefits. Those are some that you can read some of the things that we've done over the past few years. This year I'm hoping to reach almost 5,000 people, kids mainly, through our mobile dental connects, and together with Global Dental Relief from mainly the United States. But we now also have 4 schools and lots of other things, as you can see. Marketing wise, every single image is critical. Wowing a guest is critical, and marketing is always a critical part for any hotel and reaching one's heart. As a result, we're very selective in what we support and what we do not support, where we spend our money and where we choose not to spend our money. Not is on sales trips, but we do spend about $1,000 a year on the global tier games, which is a football match once a year with around 1,000 kids from surrounding villages. That for them it's the Olympic Games here in Siem Reap, basically. We're also one of the sponsors for the giant Papa Parade. If you're in Siem Reap or in the area in the month of February, then it's an amazing evening where almost 1,500 children are having a sense of achievement because they're able to make big paper animals and parading it through the streets of Siem Reap. Given the fact that community is important, I'm quite fortunate to say that I have a rather close relationship with our monasteries here, or the Vats, or the pagodas, and therefore we have been able to support Buddha's birthday celebrations at Angkor Wat, and we were allowed or able to give food to 900 monks on the bridge of Angkor Wat, and as a thank you for that, we had those same 900 monks in front of the hotel chanting and able to give an absolutely goose pimple style of experience to both myself and our guests. All of those things are obviously marketed also towards my guests. Again, every single time the name Shinta Mani goes out. About 3.5 years ago, out of pure frustration, I came up with a market which I had to think very long of the name, but we called it the Made in Cambodia market, where we're selling things and that are clearly made in Cambodia in Siem Reap province. It's now initially took place once a month, then twice a month, twice a week, now 3 times a week, and perhaps in the high season 4 times a week. The sole reason for this market was creating jobs. It's not a money maker. Shinta Mani doesn't earn a single penny on this. In fact, it's costing me money, but it's creating jobs, and it's the most magical thing to have been able to now create directly and indirect around 100 jobs for uneducated, mostly women from the surrounding villages where they're able to sell their materials. Being in our 4th year now, more and more people are starting to be aware of it, and it's getting busier and busier, and thus let's hope we're able to create even more jobs. But we had a visit last week 2 weeks ago of a lady who sells a bit of an eBay, but then for social responsibility items, and they might start to sell items from our market on that particular on the particular website. Now, as I said, about 50% of my time is based on making sure that my staff is okay. If they are okay, and having a full-time job is one of the things that will make them okay, then they are happy to give good service towards my guests. For that, for instance, I introduced the helmet laws. Here in Cambodia, unfortunately, a lot of people have a motorbike, but no one wears a helmet, mainly because it messes up your hair. 2, according to a local soap opera, it stops your brain from growing. So we did 3 months of trainings, and then after a lot of mutual consent, we agreed to introduce the fine, and as a result of it, all my staff now wears a helmet, and their whole family wears a helmet. And I have lost none of my staff in a motorbike accident over the past 2.5 years. All of my staff has had a savings account training, i.e. what is a savings account, how does it work, and what's the purpose. All of them have had marital communication skills training. You're in a relationship, you're married, you disagree with your wife, what do? Do you beat her up, or do you communicate with her? And if you communicate, how do you communicate? As I said earlier, all of my staff is full-time. We provide 10% service charge. We did last year 38 English classes a week for all staff. And one of my personal pride items is we provide the very best healthcare of any company in Cambodia. After having had 4 discussions with quite a few different healthcare providers, we basically decided that none of them were good enough, and we stopped to pay the premium. We now pay that premium into a separate bank account, and from that separate bank account we pay all healthcare issues for all of my staff, and I'm happy to tell you that we have money left at the end of the year. So it's simply cheaper for me to be self-insured, and I'm able to give a much better healthcare to my various staff members. So that's the very personal items towards my staff. We also promote from within, and we do a lot of on-the-job training. I have last year I brought all of my heads of departments to Bangkok, and for 9 of the 11 that was the first time out of Siem Reap. This year I brought all of the number 2s from those same HODs to Bangkok, and for all of them that was the first time out of Cambodia, and therefore they never see skyscrapers, motorways, airplanes, lifts, any of those type of things. Staff welfare. Another critical thing here in Cambodia, due to the fact that during the not so good years, anyone with experience, knowledge or education has all been murdered, is for instance need environmental issues. We've taken it on ourselves to become much stronger in this. So all of the plastic straws have been replaced 6 months ago with bamboo straws, providing jobs for 2 families. All of my fresh food items are delivered in linen bags, minus fish admittedly, 50% of my total hotel garbage is being composted, and again creating jobs for 2 farmers and giving them compost. We're part initiator of the Clean Up Templetown campaign. We're the part initiator of the Tree Up Templetown campaign. In total, we've planted around 300 trees around the property and throughout town, and we were the initiative taker of an environmental aware here in Siem Reap through various workshops. We're also participating in indeed the code of conduct for tourism here in Siem Reap, mainly because a couple of tourists, 3 different sets, thought it was appropriate to make nude pictures for a calendar at a religious monument like Angkor Wat. Now, obviously that's highly inappropriate, which is the reason why by next month the government of Cambodia will come up with a code of conduct. Now here's indeed a picture of those bamboo straws and some food item deliveries. We one of the many ways we've been trying to reduce costs is indeed the use of electricity. Electricity prices are going up in Siem Reap, Cambodia, and whilst the supply is actually going down, we simply don't have enough electricity in Siem Reap. This year we've closed for 3 weeks in May and replaced all of the aircon units by the latest systems, which gave us a 30% reduction, and obviously the energy saving lights, massive energy saving policies, and now reduced our electricity to around $6.50 per occupied room. Now, for the rest of this year, I'm hoping to abolish all plastic water bottles, and for me it's a standalone little hotel in the middle of nowhere to actually achieve this and make sure I remain to have happy guests. I'm working with Lonely Planet, I'm working with 3 other hotels, and I'm working with a tour company to make sure that once we launch something, we'll do it over a lot of different companies to create awareness and consensus. Shinta Mani on its own, we are using approximately 250,000 bottles annually, and as a result, they won't be able to go into the environment anymore. Now, in short, what's the reason for our success? How can it be that our GOP is higher than some of the 5-star hotels that have thousands of salespeople all over the world, and I only have 4 Khmer people without a single brochure? We're enormously pro-Cambodia. We're proven pro-Cambodia. It's not just a Facebook slogan. It's actually, even in bad times, we continue to do like that. A very active approach to, indeed, let's be different. All of my heads of department are Khmer staff. In most of the chain hotels in Siem Reap, all of the good jobs are going to Westerners. They have the executive chef, the executive housekeeper. All of those things are often done by Westerners. At Shinta Mani, every single one of them is Khmer. So you're giving opportunities. We're very pro the Cambodian environment. We, as I said earlier, own from within. We have quite a large investment with regards to my staff's education, and it's education in the broadest sense of the word. We pay an above average salary, not the highest, but above average, year-round employment, and I really strongly believe in take care of my staff, and my staff will do the rest. All of those things combined are the reason that we're able to outperform any other hotel here in Siem Reap, and I hope long may it remain.
Well, thank you so much, Christian. That was really an inspiring talk. Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Peter, as well. I have a few questions that came, and a lot of hotels have issues communicating properly about what they are doing. Either they feel shy about it, or they just do a boring list of practices. We hear that keyword that it seems to be catchy, storytelling. Can you give us your take on that, Christian?
Of course, I can my take on it. I don't believe in storytelling. I believe in providing the facts with pictures. Facebook is the perfect medium for this because um, you can basically showcase what you're doing and why you're doing it. One item by itself won't make anyone stand up or sit up and listen. However, a consistent stream of proven items in all kinds of areas will make people listen and will make people also believe you. I think that to make the whole green environment, the whole social responsibility, it's all very easy to say. It's all very easy to do. You here in Cambodia, you buy a bag of rice, you give it to some poor-looking person, and make a picture of it, post it on Facebook. Oh, fantastic! It takes a while for it to really sink in, and often at the beginning of a downturn, at the beginning of a period where it's not going so well with a particular location, that's where it's obvious who is the real, which persons really care for a particular place. In Sirip's case, it happens quite often because we have that period every year, low season. So it's all rather easy to see. So perhaps in my case, in Mani's case, it's gone a little bit faster than in other destinations. But simply stick to what you believe in. I wouldn't say boast about it, but I mean, I'm not saying to be too shy about it either. All hotels are talking about how great their beds are and how lovely their showers are. The only reason people book us is because of the halo effect that we are have been able to provide here at Shinta Mani, and reading Tripadvisor daily. The other reason is simply my staff. That's the reason why people book it.
I think that one of the keys is long-term employment, and seasonal employment is the biggest problem in many places, because that stops the community from being able to plan. So I think we do that the same thing. I think that's the key.
Indeed, Bob, as you rightfully say, it's about believing in yourself, having a plan, having a vision. That's where I want to be. And our goal was never to offer seasonal staff, only have hired full-time staff. So how much money do I need to save, and where? In our case, was around $370,000 annually for those few months that we needed to save in order to provide that full-time employment. So bang, there was your travel budget gone, brochure budget gone, and GM's business class fares to everywhere else gone, and a few other things. And as a result, money is saved, and I'm able to provide full-time staff throughout the year. And that's the key thing. Hotels, it's time that we start to think differently, and we're becoming more creative, I believe.
You know, the whole ideas of these webinars, I mean, and it's quite, I wanted to make that statement. You guys are doing a great job locally and in your environment. I mean, I think what you're doing tonight is very important as well. You're inspiring global communities and other communities, and trying to also inspire other hotel owners. And I think that's probably the next step for all of you, if I may, trying to share that knowledge the way we do it tonight. I mean, personally, I think there's a lot that we can learn from you champions, all of you, the three of you. So I would like to thank you. Peter, is there anything you want to add to all those great comments and ideas?
Yeah, I guess I've got two sort of things to share. One is just personally, my wife and I, we have a boutique and we sell handmade products made by about 30 different community groups and organizations in Hua Hin. And we, it's a mainstream tourism destination, albeit that it's quite a well-educated tourism destination. And we find that people are, they're interested in sustainability as long as it's communicated simply, and the experience is very, very important. So I kind of we borrowed experience from working with tour operators to make the shop itself into an experience. It's fun to come in. You can try it all. You can try spinning silk with a real silk cocoon. And I also think in terms of communication, making with images that you use in communicating the results of sustainability actions, like we do a tree planting project, for example, kind of emphasizing that it's about you and I, making it sort of hopeful. So when we have pictures, it's us and the customers, that it's the pictures of producers and also the producers that made the products and the customers which bought them, together in the shop, to give a sense of, this is sustainability on a small scale. Is something that we can all make a difference, even if it's only a small difference. Yes, the problems are big and they are complex, but they're not too complex that we can't make a difference. So communicating, you and I, we're doing this together. Thank you.
Yes, it's a great shop. I saw the reviews on Tripadvisor. They're raving. It's the best thing to do. So, question, and I just want to throw a few questions that are coming, and let's get some answers. What impressed a few people, and Thomas asked a question about it. Christian again. You come up with quite impressive numbers and data, and that's something that usually is quite easily supplied for water or energy. How do you measure and how do you quantify the social impact of your activities? Can you give us some tips?
The smile on my staff's face, the awareness of the thank yous of my staff. Right now, this minute, I have one staff member whose mother is in hospital in urgent need of blood. There is no blood in Cambodia. Her blood type is not available. So we're doing quite a roundup of anyone trying to find the right type of blood for my staff's mother. If and when we find it, and fingers crossed we will, to see the smile on his face, thanking, I hope me, or to thank someone else who perhaps here at the hotel been able to find the blood type, that's the biggest thing. To see the smile on a farmer's face when we give him a water well, and he's able to irrigate the land and provide his family with drinking water. It's that simple. It's the smile that does it. And as a result, you're able to touch someone's heart, it being either the people that we provide for, the people that we work with, my staff, their family, or anyone else in the community, or the people that we reach in their hearts that are actually turning out to be my guests and are paying to stay with me.
My situation is also, it's a choice of lifestyle, being here and having, like I said at the beginning, left call it a career to do this little business. So my choice was, rather than wanting to sit in meetings looking at numbers and dealing with corrupt politicians or investors, that I actually rather walk barefoot to the village and greeted by the kids and eldest. So that's a direct result, you could say. That's how you could measure it.
Questions, gentlemen, about the correlation between room rates, operating costs, and room rates.
Because of our different way of thinking and operating, I think we're actually less expensive. In fact, we're cheaper because of it, and that's mainly because my operating costs are less. To not have brochures, that's, I think we calculated once, $29,000, I think. It's the same with me. Our sales budget, our travel budget, zero. And because my guests are already traveling, they've already paid for the bloody airfare, so they can go home, talk to their agent, and rave about us, Tripadvisor, word of mouth, and so on. And I think because of the CSR, we're actually earning money, but it's critical that it's proven, sincere, honest, and that it's over a longer period. So the first 1, 2, 3 years, indeed, it's probably an investment. Afterwards, and for us here at Shinta Mani, we're now in year 11. It's giving us money back because it's giving us our image.
Okay. Well, just want to announce our next webinar. You can already go to Facebook and join it. It's going to be on waste management, health, environment, and aesthetics in about a month's time. So, well, thank you very much for being here with us tonight, and I hope you enjoyed this webinar, and look forward to welcoming you in a coming event. Thank you, everyone.